Hello, my name is Gigi Baum, and I'm the Creative Director at Sage Dining Services. And today, I'm going to show you how to make a graham cracker house, which is one of my favorite activities to do during the holiday season. So the first thing you need to do is make royal icing, which basically is the glue to put the house together. So what you need is 2 cups of confectioner sugar, then what you do is add some water, and what I recommend is just adding a little bit of water at a time because you need to get the right consistency to make a glue. This is not the kind of royal icing you use like for decorating cookies. It needs to be a little thicker. So I normally just add like a couple of tablespoons to start with, and I just mix it up. All right, now this is very thick. It's a little too thick, so I just add a little bit of water at a time. Okay, now that's definitely better. It's actually falling into itself, so that's the perfect texture. The next thing you want to do with your icing is, what I recommend is you get some pastry bags, and these you can easily get on Amazon. They're made by Wilton, or you can even get them at Michael's. And this device I have found very handy. Again, it's a Wilton product, and it's an aid when you start filling your pastry bag. You just plop your pastry bag in there. So, to make the house, you will need 7 graham cracker sheets. I have a few extra because you just never know if anything might break off. So the first thing you need, what I recommend, is to get these little cardboard pieces. They're for when you bake cakes. I find them really handy as a good base to put your graham cracker house on. So, to make the base, which I'm going to work on here right now, you need 2 graham crackers that are side by side. I am now going to start using my icing. Hopefully this consistency will work. So I'm just going to start pushing the glue. You basically just want to get some glue along here. This is where it gets a little messy. I would just rub this along just to really get it nice and sealed. And I'm just going to wipe my finger off a little bit on there. So what you need to do is just set this aside, let the base dry well, set it aside, and then you can start making the house. So you're going to take 1 graham cracker sheet, and actually what I recommend using, just so it's a clean break, is use a serrated knife, and you're going to break it in half. So I'm just going to do a quick little cut there, and I break it in half. And then you're going to take another full sheet, and this is just because it's a guide from me. You're going to create one side of the house And you're kind of cutting at a 45-degree angle, but basically you're going to be cutting up to where they have the little line in the middle of the cracker. So once you cut along there, this should easily snap off. And then you just do the same thing to the other side. Not quite. Okay, so this becomes your template for the next piece. All right, cut that. Okay. All right. The next thing you want to do are cut the pieces for the roof. And for this, you need to cut about 1/4 of a sheet off just to make the roof. Again, use the first piece you cut off as the template. And also, take a look at your sides. If they're a little rough, you can just kind of shave them down a little bit with the knife. Make sure they're nice and clean. Okay. So you have your roof pieces, and these are the 4 sides for your house. All right. Hold on to those because that might come in handy. So now we're going to start constructing the house. So you're going to take one of each of these, lay this piece down flat, and take your glue and just glue it on. Okay. After you've waited a couple of minutes and you're sure that it's still fragile, just remember that, but you can then glue the second side on. Okay, we are now ready, now that both of these sides are relatively stable, we are ready to glue the last side on. Very gently, don't press too hard, let it sit for about 30 seconds, and then we're going to put it upright. As you can see, it's a little wobbly, which is why you need to get it to be upright, so I'm going to do that. All right, so now that you have your basic frame of the house, we need to add the roof to your house. So what I recommend is laying it down on its side. Take the glue, plop it on. And take one of the pieces you cut for your roof and stick it on there. And you want to just, again, hold that for a few for about 30 seconds. And once it's 30 seconds, what I recommend is flipping the house over. It's still a little wobbly, so just be gentle. So these very valuable pieces that you have discouraged your kids from nibbling off of, hopefully, those can act as buttresses. And you let your house just sit there again for a few minutes to dry. And then after you've waited, again, you're going to flip it over and use your little buttress piece just to help it stay up. And again, you need to wait about another 10 minutes just to let it really set. So we are now able to add the house to the base, but what I recommend you do, your base should be pretty dry. I recommend you put a little dab of the glue in here and just put your base down. This will just make sure that the house sticks to it and doesn't move around. All right, so your house should be fairly dry now, just still be very gentle. But you can now add your house to the base. So what I recommend doing is taking your glue and putting it around all the edges here, and don't worry if it drips. All right, now I do not put my house on the very right front and center. I tend to center it and move it to the back a little bit, just so you have kind of what I would call like a little front yard for your house. And just let that sit. And then I recommend just adding a little glue to the base of the house just to really secure it. What you really should do, and I know your kids won't be happy, but you really should give your house a good 24 hours to completely dry. It's still somewhat fragile, and you know, the sides or whatever really need to set well. But the following day, the best part comes in where you get to start decorating your house. Okay, well, it's been 24 hours. And we are now ready to decorate our house. So the first thing I'm going to do is something on the roof. So right now, I'm just going to put some glue down here and have your kids ready to roll, because they can certainly help once you do the glue. So I'm just have these gumdrops. I'm going to start adding them, and I would just hold it down just to make sure it's nice and secure. Hold them for a couple, about 30 seconds. You just want to make sure they're nicely planted, because things tend to move. Okay, now remember, this glue is not 100% dry, so just be very gentle as you start decorating the house. So right now I'm just going to concentrate on doing the roof. So I'm going to take one of these flowers that I found in Michael's. And I recommend, it might be a little helpful sometimes to have a brush. Probably, and I'm just gonna squeeze some of the glue into a bowl. It should be enough for now. You can always add more. So I'm just gonna put a little bit on a brush, and I'm just gonna put this right on the center, and you want to hold it for a few seconds to make sure it sticks, probably about 30 seconds. I think 30 seconds is probably like a standard drying time when you're working with this royal icing. It definitely seems to work. It doesn't mean it's 100% dry, but dry enough that you can probably let go. Like it's been about 30 seconds, and as you can see, the flour is staying. So as you see, I've started to decorate this house. I'm working on the roof, but start thinking about what things you could do. Like you could take like these little round jelly candies, and if you stack them, you could like start making a little tree and decorate the tree with all kinds of sprinkles that you might have here, and also add icing on top of it so it looks like there's snow on the tree. Think about what you can do to make a door, or what you might want to do for windows. You could also take your icing and paint it all over the base here, and then you could take your sparkly sugar and add it on top so it looks like snow is kind of glistening. There's so many things you can do to have fun with. So talk with your kids and come up with some ideas and see what they would like to do for their house as well. So have fun, be creative, enjoy doing this with your family, and have a wonderful holiday.